theme, which is automation for efficiency, to be dealt with by Mr. Jimit Njai. Jimit, you're welcome on board, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Jibu, for having me on the show. In the interest of time, I'll just go head right into it. So, some of my colleagues have already laid out the situation with digitization and its current constraints within the Gambia. But there's also a lot of opportunities, and I'm here to talk about one of them, which is the potential for automation. Now, why automation in the first place? Why would you want to automate your business processes or government processes? Well, there's several reasons. I'm going to go name some of them in order of least to first. One reason is business agility. So software is easier to change if built right than people are. So a properly designed software automation solution can more easily allow businesses or government to more easily respond to changes in the market or in customer preferences. Basically, business agility is one reason. Another reason is crystallizing domain knowledge. So quite often in some of these businesses or government agencies, the knowledge of the domain, and by this I mean how that particular business or government agency actually runs, the actual knowledge space in which they dwell, it is often sometimes siloed in specific individuals. Like your leaders at the top will have a general overview of how to get from A to B in terms of producing the actual end product that is their whole reason for existence. But the actual nitty-gritty of these processes is not often well understood across the entire organization, or at least in a visible way that allows everyone to understand the steps involved in accomplishing whatever goal it is that particular agency or business is involved with. Software automation makes this a first, like the core of the business, and all the key stakeholders need to come together to crystallize that knowledge and make it very well understood. And during that process, quite often there's some hidden nitty-gritties about how that process is being run that come to light, because usually you're going to have one particular employee who's responsible for a not well-known part of their operation that comes to light in these discussions. And these again highlight points of inefficiency that can be improved by a better understanding of the business process. And quite often as well, some of these software automation tools have visual aids that make understanding the business process even easier, like stuff like flow charts that actually not only depict how the process is run, but also how it's executed in a visual way that all the stakeholders can better understand. And I keep emphasizing understanding the business process, because it's quite important, because quite often you have your business leaders who have a general overview that, for instance, let's say we are at the physical planning and you need to just process applications for lease permits or something of that nature. Maybe at the top you understand that people bring in their plans and it gets to your desk eventually, but the actual process of it getting to your desk is not generally well understood by those stakeholders, because there's a whole bevy of people at the lower level who handle that. But there's a lot of nitty-gritty involved in that, which is why it may take quite a bit of time for a particular document to get to your desk, resulting in a lot of inefficiency, because you're dealing with people. I'm sure people listening and some of my colleagues are very familiar with some of the difficulties involved with getting a piece of paper, either from one person to another, or getting something approved or getting something issued. And it's inefficiencies of that nature, because you're dealing with people. So crystallizing domain knowledge is very important for this, for basically highlighting in detail how the actual process is done of getting from A to B as far as achieving your organization goals. Another reason is for freeing up personnel to work on higher value tasks. So again, because of the lack of the digitization and the digital transformation process, you find yourself um, people dealing with paper, and there's a lot more staff involved in managing some of these papers. You accept a whole batch of papers from customers, put it in a storage locker, so you have people to manage that. People moving all these documents from place to place. Digital transformation alleviates some of the needs for all that manpower by allowing you to then redirect some of these employees to more business valuable tasks, that can better achieve your business goals. So that one final need is just better efficiency in general, right? Computers are generally faster in accomplishing the same task, as long as they are capable of accomplishing that task. So it is best to assign them these tasks wherever possible, so that the human element can then focus on things that computers cannot do, and thus, as a whole, raise the efficiency of your process. So those are the reasons for why automation. Now, so what are the challenges that
Hello, Jimmy.
Yes.
Hello, Jimmy. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, I
Can
do.
you just wrap up? We're running out of time. Can you wrap up, please?
Okay, right. Really quickly, some of my colleagues have already addressed some of the challenges that we've got for automation, because those same challenges are faced by all forms of IT implementation or digitization efforts, and automation in particular. Those are the challenges with regards to digitization in general, the current challenges with regards to infrastructure, and there's a challenge involved with the upfront cost of digital, because whilst you end up with cost savings as you improve your business process via automation, the upfront cost can be a blocker for some organizations. Now, as far as benefits for the Gambia in particular, we want better run organizations across the board, whether it's in business or particularly in government, because I'm sure your everyday customer or consumer of government services would be quite happy if they didn't have to queue or wait for ages to get documents processed. If there was a more streamlined way of doing things, automation would be a great benefit there. And like I mentioned, the cost savings, because if you're doing things better and more efficient and you're doing more with less, you're saving a lot more money, which can be invested in something else. But a huge benefit that cannot be overemphasized is just knowledge, because automating the process means you have better checks as things happen, and you
Hello,
get.
Jimmy.
Yes.
Hello, Jimmy. Yes, we're running out of time. We would have allowed you if you had time, but we've already consumed almost the time that we allocated. Thank you very much for that insightful discussion.
Right.
I didn't want to cut you short at this point, but we are running out of time. So
Okay.
I'll just follow it up with the questions that I have here. Why do you think the government of the Gambia and businesses in the Gambia need to automate operations and systems? And also, how can this country make happen such tools in all its system operations?
Well, the benefits are self-evident. Better efficiency, because this has been my experience in particular. Particularly, and every time I have to deal with a government agency in terms of getting some kind of process to happen, it's been plagued with inefficiencies, because we're dealing with moving pieces of paper from one place to another. Automating them just better. You better customer service. Your people are happier. You can engage your staff in more useful work. You can save money by doing things faster, doing more things, and because you have access to automation, you have access to more in-depth knowledge of how things are actually being used, and therefore can make your business stakeholders and leaders can make better decisions. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for the response. With that, do want to have a follow-up question, supplementary question from Bran. Bran, do you have any questions for Jimmy? that you would
Yes, I
like to
do
ask
have
at
one
this point in
question.
time? Yeah,
Yes, I do have one
please go
question.
ahead.
Okay.
Please go
So
ahead.
thank you, Jimit, for a wonderful presentation. There's no doubt in my mind, being a techie, that automation is definitely the way to go. And I think after COVID-19, a lot of people who disagreed with how important it was do agree now in terms of efficiency and effectiveness and saving money. But my question to you is, the challenge we have in third world countries like Gambia is not that we don't agree automation is more efficient, but how would you tackle change management? How would you tackle people refusing to automate by not engaging in the entire process? What would be your take on that? I'm just curious. Thank you.
That's an excellent question because you cannot ignore the human element in all of
Jimmy,
this.
hello.
Yeah, am I on mute? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So you cannot ignore the human element in all of this because it's people who actually get some of these done. And if you've been doing things a certain way for years and years, any change to that process that either eliminates that particular way of doing things or changes in any way could people are going to fight it. I believe it was Dr. Shirfo that mentioned one example of where trying to get anything done in I think it was in the government agency, and then you have to either grease some palms or talk to somebody in particular to get that process done. People of that nature who in those kind of positions, they're obviously not going to be in favor of anything that takes away from their slice of the pie. But it needs to be done for us to move forward. You know, it literally that's what it comes down to. It.
Thank
In
you,
order,
Jimmy.
yeah.
Thank you for thank you for that brilliant answer. I think we are running out of time, so we have one more presentation, Dr. Abdul Karim Jallo, who is to come next. Just